Yeah. I'm sick of this war. I can't stand the evil anymore. That's going on for far too long. Politicians acting like gangsters, promoting violence and division and religion and race, all for the sake to promote their own agenda. While they watch the masses suffer, now the media is trying to program the way we talk, the way we walk, the way we think. They want us to believe in every single lie that they preach and spread. Hate those that they hate and love those that they love. But I refuse to be used as a tool to enrich the already rich. That's why I'm taking my stand.
Why was this project necessary?
Africans, for the most part, are not known for telling their stories, for keeping their stories. And we thought that African migrants in the UK should record their stories. And there are 54 African countries, so we obviously couldn't go and look for people in all 54 countries. Eventually, we might get there. But for now, we selected Ghanaians, Nigerians, and Somalis to record their stories. These stories will be archived, and people 500 years, 1,000 years, 2,000 years down the line can know how African migrants who came to the UK, they lived, the challenges that they faced, how they overcame them.
We left Nigeria for the UK 1987. My husband came back from work one day and said, guess what? That is the director of the company called him and said, would you like to go to England, Hamburg, or Germany? So he said, well, anywhere English is spoken. So he chose Liverpool. And he said, we are going to Liverpool.
I came to the UK in 1983 finally to settle. I've completed studies in the Soviet Union. I've had my master's degree, and I was coming to join Mercy here. Mercy, my wife, coming to join here.
I came to Britain in 2001, and I came to play tennis in Winchester. It was another ITF junior tournament, and that's how I came to Britain.
I want to educate myself better. That's one reason. But you know how kids are. All my friends, they were coming. I wanted to come as well.
You know, the country was okay. In comparison to what we have today, the country was okay. Money had value. People had money, and you had value. Around that time, I'm sure it was 1 to 1 naira to £1 around the time, I'm sure. Because I always remember I had to go and pay some money to do with traveling abroad, and I think it was 1,500 or something like that, which at the time I remember was a lot of money, which is nothing. If you have 1,500 naira, you can't even buy sweets with.
At the time of leaving Ghana, it was under a military regime. The country was then led by Kendall Champon, right? It was a military regime which had overthrown a civilian government, which was the Buzia government. It was a certain time for me. I was very interested in politics, right? I was reading government. I did government at A level. So just after my A level, I had a government scholarship to go to the Soviet Union to study economics for 6 years.
Since my early life, in the primary school, I actually went to several primary schools because my dad moved around. And after that, went to a government comprehensive school in Port Harcourt. And was there till about 1967 when the war broke, the Biafran War broke.
The Nigerian Civil War affected you personally. Can you describe?
Yes, yeah, it affected me because my town, Ogu, was actually evacuated by the Biafrans during that time. And during the evacuation period, a number of our chiefs and other people were actually killed. Some of the chiefs were actually thrown into oil wells, etc. In fact, my dad was actually not well at that time, and I didn't see my dad at all. I've never seen my father's dead body.
Ghana used to be under British. As you know, we had our independence in 1956, and in the early 70s, we were still driving in the right, like Britain, but we changed over to the left in 1971, 72. So around that time, there was a lot of advertisement which will save people from getting accidents and stuff. We did very well in changing over from left to right.
We did find things different. For instance, I remember seeing somebody eating fish and chips for the first time, and he was walking on the streets with eating fish and chips. And I thought that that really wouldn't happen, because I thought that every British would have to sit down with knife and fork, and the sort of things were taught by the British Council, you know, in those type of etiquette.
The weather was very, very cold. I could not stand the weather. And I was thinking, I've got to go back, I've got to go back. Actually, I wanted to go back because, you know, I couldn't. One, I'm missing my family. I haven't been out, you know, as far as this before. So I was missing home, and I wanted to come home, and I spent all the time crying and crying.
It was grey. It was in May, but it was grey, and it was drizzling, and it was cold. And I can't remember which dock we went to, but we disembarked, and they took all our luggage was going to be delivered to Lime Street, because we were going on the boat train to London. And I sort of vaguely remember somewhere by Central Station that there was an overhead railway line. But all the buildings were black. All the buildings, you know, all of the Three Graces and everything was black. And I just couldn't get it out of my head that buildings could be black. Because when we left the Gold Coast, buildings were white, yellow, pink, you know, any color you can think of but black. And that, of course, was from the soot, from industry and from houses, that the coal fires, the soot from the coal fires, made all the buildings black. I mean, people born now wouldn't know that all those buildings were black. And so it seems strange that they've built, like the new Liverpool Museum, they built a black building. When in the past they had to spend a lot of money to make the buildings that had gone black as proper, a natural color again. Anyhow, we were very disappointed in Liverpool. My sister, who was only 12, then turned round to my mother and she said, "Is this the England?" She was ready to go back.
Your name, actually, could be your downfall. If you are very Nigerian. If you got African name, if you got an African name, it doesn't help. It's not helpful, you know, when you're applying for jobs.
Why didn't you change your name?
I couldn't change my name. I'm born Victor Ihekwe. I remember Victor Ihekwe till the day I leave.
I remember going for an interview in Chester. I got called for the interview, and when I got there, the receptionist said, "What are you here for?" I said, "I've come for the interview." And she said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Of course." I've come. And she said, "What's your name?" And I mentioned David Derefaka. So she must have thought that David Derefaka was like like either German or Spanish or East European name. She said, "Oh, but I didn't think that it was you."
What does the name Derefaka means?
As you know, African names mean something. Derefaka means our father's name will never finish. It will continue. It's just a continue. In fact, the real pronunciation is Eda Refaka. Eda Erefaka. So Eda means my father. Ere means name. Faka means it won't finish.
I wrote 100 applications to various fields and writing my degree, and I did not get any job. And what I did not know the pattern of what they do. So my name was a part of my problem when I write Prince Oka Yuoka and then write my degree.
On the ward, you are a black nurse. One, they don't know how to pronounce your name. And if you pronounce their own name wrong, they get angry. And that has happened to me. One time a patient got angry. I pronounced her name wrong. But she corrected me. I said, I'm sorry. In the presence of all the other patients and some of the nurses. But she didn't leave it there. When the matron came to do a ward round, I was the one taking the matron round. Got to her again. She complained to the matron that I did not know how to pronounce her name and that she's not happy. At this time, me being me, I said, but I've said I'm sorry. And it won't happen again. She said, but that's not fair though. You don't go about mocking people's name or making fun of people's name. So then I flared up. I said, listen, you don't know how to say my own name. You don't even call me by my name. You call me Little Black Nurse. I said, in this world, I am not the smallest. I'm not the shortest. If I look around, I said, I think I'm the tallest among my classmates. But you call me Little Black Nurse, and I haven't taken offense. Then the matron called me to the office and said, no, Nurse Majuki, you should not talk to patients like that. I said, and excuse me, Miss Liz, you don't know how to pronounce my name. I said, and until you all know how to pronounce my name, I will not go on apologizing again.
Did things change?
Yes. The matron apologized immediately because she knew I was right. I said, every one of you, from the top to the bottom, call me Midweek, my donkey, Mamaduke. No, they are not my name. But I accept it because I know that it is hard for you to pronounce African name. And so it is hard for me to pronounce most of the English name. It's not my first language.
But why did you accept all of those abuses?
I wanted to become a nurse.
Racial prejudice appears to be alive and well in the UK.
Well, the United Kingdom is majority white, and most migrants are not white. So obviously, they will face problems. And technically, it's like in your house. When somebody new gets into your house, your kids will start, oh, who's that that's just coming to the house? This is what happened with migration. When people get into a new country, they'll face all types of problems. But the main one that people from Africa face when they get to the UK is racial prejudice, racial discrimination, and racism.
When I arrived in Liverpool, one thing I realized is the city is not a welcoming place for somebody who's our color or any black person.
The general things that people face, unemployment is one of it. If you go to Liverpool city centre, you barely see a black person working in the main shops of the city centre. A black face will be difficult to see. So how these people who are working in the city centre, with hundreds and thousands of people, got the jobs when all the black people in the city have not been employed? Are they all not qualified?
Oh yes, when we moved to Buto, we did encounter a bit of racism. When my children go to school and I do their hair with thread, you know the way we plait hair in Nigeria, plait there with thread, they come back with the thread hanging down them. What happened? Oh, they pulled it, they say, oh, you are having horns, you are horns. Then they ask them, oh, you live on trees, isn't it? Show us how you climb the trees and all that. So at times coming home, they face people, and I said, Father, we have to deal with this for me. Show me how to handle this. And I just told them, say, whatever it is, you don't look for trouble.
Well, as a person myself, I've observed some kind of discrimination. I remember when I got my first job in Britain, I was taken around the office so that people could see whom I was and what I liked.
It's very difficult to get a job, especially when they know that, or they see your name. The name alone speaks everything. They will even call you for or shortlist you. So it's very hard. For example, since I lost my job, it has been very difficult. So I had to go into education instead of looking for another job. So I'm doing part-time whilst I'm educating myself to climb up the ladder.
I'm not forgotten, God knows my name. I'm not forgotten, I'm not forgotten, I'm not forgotten, God knows my name, He knows my name. I'm not forgotten, I'm not forgotten, I'm not forgotten, God knows my name, He knows my name. He knows my name. He knows my name.
Àjò ni mo re o, kó rí bá mi délé. Àjò ni mo re o, kó rí gbé mi délé. Orí mi, ẹlẹ́dàá mi, ó bá gbé mi délé o, torájò ni mo re o. That's Yoruba language, you know, and what's the meaning of that, you know, it's like I travel out, you know, so my destiny, you know, my head, you know, take me back home, you know, because there's no place like home.
We are Biafran, fighting for our freedom. We Tojuku leading, we shall conquer. We are Biafran, fighting for our freedom. We Tojuku leading, we shall conquer.
Would you say some people lose part of their cultural identity when they travel abroad?
When, as a migrant, you move into a new society, you have to learn to live in that new society. You move along with your culture, your traditions, your customs. But when you get into a new society, you need to also learn their cultures, their traditions. And that's why there's always clash. So when you hear about racial prejudice and racism, it usually comes from the unknown. Somebody is in their house and you start getting people from Syria, from South Africa, from Brazil, from China, and they say, hey, the UK is just a little island. If so many people come there, at one point there won't be space to accommodate all of these people.
I'm original Nigerian man, to you guys. If you have a red passport, you have British passport, whatever you have, you know, I still stand as a Nigerian man, you know. I'm a Nigerian man, yeah. I'm a Nigerian, I'm a British man, I'm a Nigerian man. No, both of them.
Are you more British or you are more Ghanaian?
Both.
Explain yourself. Ghanaian, explain why you're Ghanaian.
I'm a Ghanaian still, because I can't change my color to become British or American. At the end of the day, if some problem comes, they can deport you. You can call me British, okay.
Explain how you are British.
You can call me British, but I know that I'm not British.
Explain how you are British.
Because at the end of the day, I'm British by paper.
Well, I'm more British because I was growing up in this country. Since I was like 13 years old, I came to this country. And I'm 45 years old at this moment. I'm 45 years old, so I call myself British basically.
Now, do you consider yourself like Nigerian or British?
Both. I consider myself as both, but mainly Nigerian, but also British, because obviously most of my life I've been lived here, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunity I've been given here, and I must say that I've been given an opportunity, to develop myself and develop family. So I'm really grateful to Britain, to this country. So I consider myself British and also Nigerian. There's this dual citizenship between Nigerians and British people as well, yes.
When you die, you'll be buried in Nigeria?
Yes, definitely.
Now, there's this interesting question that you asked some of the participants, where they would like to be buried. What was in your mind when you asked such questions?
In Africa, where a person is buried, it has a lot of cultural significance. So a lot of Africans who go abroad, they might stay there for 30, 40, 50 years. They will tell their close family members that, oh, when I die, take me back to Nigeria, take me back to Cameroon, take me back to South Africa. That is not a topic that a lot of people like to talk about. But we thought that by asking that question, we'll get to know if these people are really, they still think African, though they've been in the UK for the past 2, 3, 4 decades, or if they are British. Half of the people who spoke to said they want to be taken back to Africa and buried there. The other half said, no, why should you be spending 5,000, 10,000 pounds to carry a dead body back to Africa when there are people in Africa who don't even have food to eat? So we thought that question was very, very important to ask.
I prefer to be buried here because it's waste of money. Waste of money sending a dead body, to Ghana. Why some people are in Ghana don't even have food to eat?
That makes a lot of sense.
Waste of money, yeah.
He wants to go back to his home, to his roots, when he dies. Say, carry me back home. I don't know why he's saying he doesn't miss. He loves there, but me, I don't mind being buried here.
I would like to be buried where my children are here. Buried with my.
You more British than Nigerian.
Yeah, buried with my dad. My dad is buried here, so I'm going to be buried here. Along where my children can come and visit my grave.
All the things I miss most. Can you look up into the sky? The sun, the family ties, our culture and things. Although we've been trying to initiate things which involve doing our cultures here, but it's not the same. When you get video recordings about things which are happening in the homeland, the way, in terms of our adoring, marriage ceremonies and things, we've got our own way of doing those sort of things.
Somalia, particularly where we've got we had a village there. One thing I miss a lot is the village. It's got these special trees there. I always remember I used to go to that village and just sit under the tree. It's a large trees. It was, the shade. I like the shade there, I think. That's something I miss a lot. Even when I go there, I don't stay in the city. I go to the village. Yeah. The sand is red African sand. Beautiful. Yeah. In Somalia, you haven't got that stress. It's a stress-free place. You don't have worries. Here, every morning you get up with worries. You don't know what's coming through the letterbox. That's something I miss about the country. And also my family, all my members of family are there. I haven't seen them for 25 years now. Since I came in 1993 and I haven't went back. I'm actually missing them.
All of them. First of all, the weather. Before, we don't have sugar, diabetic in Somaliland. We don't know the diabetic. We came to know here. Blood pressure, this and this and this and this. Yeah.
So you're saying you have many lifestyle diseases now?
Yes, exactly, really.
Apparently, lots of Africans don't take part in British politics.
Yes, the point about taking part in politics, we thought it was necessary to ask that question for the simple fact that if you want to change things in a society, you have to be political. To be political, you have to fight for elective posts. So either being councillors or being mayors or being MPs, why not the Prime Minister? But we noticed that a lot of Africans, when they come with all this myriad of problems that they have, they don't even take time to get into British politics.
Uncle Fela told me, never get involved in politics. It's a dirty game, he says. And I think he's right. I know politicians, and I know a lot of the local politicians as well. And I know some national politicians as well. And I think it's a dirty game, politics, really. I think it's very short term. people are doing what they think it's in their interest. I mean, if you look at what's happened recently in the country, Theresa May called an election because she thought she was going to win it outright, and she didn't.
You've got a political machinery. And the political machinery, in order for you to progress, you have to be part and parcel of the machine. But then, the machine itself, the machinery, the working of the party, even though they will tell you, oh, you are welcome, but when you get in, you see that you are not that welcome as they want. I mean, let's look at Dutch State. If there's going to be a local election, you expect a party to pick somebody from that community. But no, they will go and bring somebody of their own to stand in that community. And then they will pick somebody from the community to be their mouthpiece. So that person who is an indigene of that community will rally around the people to vote for this white man. So, I mean, really discourage a lot of blacks from getting involved in politics.
I try to advocate it. The reason why I can be, I never wanted, even in Nigeria, they want me to be a politician. And I've said no. I always want to look at people on the face. I tell them what I feel. Most politicians, they can't.
I like Liverpool because I take Liverpool as a second home when I was in Nigeria. Whenever we came here, I feel okay in Liverpool. I feel just like Lagos because I have so many friends in Liverpool. What happened in Liverpool again is that Liverpoolians, they are discriminating, indirect. Mm-hmm. That means they pretend that they like you, that they pretend. But when you turn back, they start to talk about you.
In the 60s, Liverpool was the most welcoming city in Britain. Remembering that for over 50 years, the blacks have lived and interacted with the whites in Liverpool, albeit safely.
Do you like Liverpool?
No.
How long have you lived in Liverpool?
Since 1998.
Why don't you like Liverpool?
I don't know. I don't like it's too quiet. It's too quiet.
So why are you still living in Liverpool?
Because of my husband. He won't like to move.
Have you tried to convince him to move?
Yeah.
Where will you want to move to?
Like Manchester or...
And it also looks like black and minority people have a hard time getting the job for which they trained for.
That was a very interesting finding from the interviews that we did. We interviewed 30 different people, and we noticed that a lot of people train for one profession and they end up doing another profession because for some reason they couldn't get a job in that given profession. I think we can't blame the UK society specifically for that. A lot of people don't have the right orientation. If you come to the UK and you come and train like a nurse, you come and train like a doctor, a pharmacist, you can get a good job. If you come and train like a journalist, as I did, you might not get a good job because they'll say your accent is not good enough for national television. So that's already a problem.
Was very, very difficult. Actually, I could not even get a job in that line that I was trained. I could not use my certificate. Up till now, I did not use that certificate because it was difficult for me to find a job. And I can remember an example was I went to a job center looking for jobs, and there was a job at Adelphi. So pick up the card, went to the reception, and they said, oh yes, there is a job there. So they sent me there. They phoned them up and they said, yeah, I could come. I should come down.
What was the job?
Was a catering officer. So I then went because it's not far. I just walked down to Adelphi.
When I got to Adelphi, I met the catering manager. And she said to me, and I introduced myself, and she said to me, "Oh, I'm sorry, the job has gone." I said, "But I've just left there about 5-10 minutes ago. They said the job is here." So he said, "I'm sorry, the job has gone." So that was it. I couldn't get a job.
Why do you think you couldn't get that job, that particular job?
I think because I'm black. That's what I put it down to.
Now, this is all happening, and life was difficult then. Now, remember, I did banking. Now you have to retrain to go to other type of jobs to see if you can, if you can get into other type of professions, and move on. So during this period, I was searching for jobs everywhere. Went out to London, worked with
So if I get it, you never had any job like a banker? You never worked in any bank?
Never.
You had a banking degree?
Never.
And it also looks like the migrants don't do business in the UK.
We spoke to this young guy from Ghana who said it was strange. He's a chef. He runs a restaurant, and not an African restaurant. He's running a Mexican restaurant. And he said if he runs an African restaurant, he's going to fall out of business because for some bizarre reasons, Africans don't support their own. But it would be great if more Africans got industrials and they took part. Apart from people like Somalis and Nigerians who are very business conscious, a vast majority of Africans don't take part in business, active business. And when you don't take part in active business, you can't have the economic cloth. You can't have the finances to run projects. Why do you think there's that lack of initiative for Africans to set up their own thing and run it?
Because we are scared of losing money. And if you're scared to lose money, or should I say risk? Now, to take a risk, you have to know what you're getting into. You have your positive and you have your negative. So you just have to look at the negative. You have to look at the positive. When a negative happens, it happened. You move on. It doesn't mean your life is end, or it doesn't mean because somebody will laugh at you, your life is going to end. Why should you worry about because somebody will laugh at you? And this is a major thing in African community, that somebody's downfall is somebody's happiness.
Like a young entrepreneur, African entrepreneur in Liverpool, what advice will you give to other young Africans, or even older people, Africans too, who want to take that venture and move into the next level and challenge themselves and run a business as you are doing?
Well, there is this guy that I've already encouraged. He came to me and said, "Look, this is what I want to do. I can see you've done your thing, but I need some advice." And I said, "Look, what you're going to offer is good. Because you want to set up a tutoring classes for school to teach kids, yeah." And I said, "Look, this is a good thing. It's a very good thing. The demand is there. You just have to work hard at it. It's gonna be difficult, but you just have to." And believe me, this guy he's gone on and done it, and I'm proud of him. And this is what we need.
My name's Eric. Yeah, this is my barber shop, Rasta Barber Shop. I'm working here now 7 years now. Before I was working down there. Now I'm very happy to work in. And the business is going well,
How can we make Africa great again?
Talking. We should try and talk about it, about getting together. We should try and respect every African. We haven't tried hard enough to get ourselves together. I think that is one major thing we need to do. And it all boils down to having a society which we can all join. But someone have to take the initiative. Someone have to take the lead. That, I think, we need to address.
Well, what it is in a nutshell, is is everybody wanted to be rich. Everybody wanted to succeed and not the other person. And most of all is trust. We don't trust each other at all. And that's a fundamental flaw to the way we've, been existing. It's about time for black people to recognize who they are and come together and start doing things together, because nobody's going to wait for us. We have to wake up now and start doing things to our benefit.
Women, excuse me to use the words, are bitchy. Women, we have a lot of problems. Women always tend, oh, this one is talking about me, this one is looking about me. That is why women can't come together. Women are always competing. This one has said this one has looked at me. So if we can take all these things from our life and be level-headed and stand up as women, we can unite better.
Hello, my name is Osamu Diame Asemota. I'm from Nigeria, but I'm based in the UK. And this song I'm going to sing is Mama Care, okay? It's Mama Care, yeah. I sang it, yeah, because of my mom. I love my mom. Sound like this, yeah. I thank God for 9 months in your belly without a buck, Sean. You never let me cry when I felt hungry. You're always there to breastfeed me. I cannot pay you for all the good and discipline that you taught me. If I were the queen crown, every tea that glitter, every food that tastes sweet. It's this kind of same reading, but the lyrics are different. You understand? I don't sound like Tupac. Tupac sound like me, because rap start from Africa. We started rap before Americans started doing rap.
What would you say are some of the lessons you learned from the project?
Well, we did get to talk to, together with all the battery of volunteers that we worked with to collect these 30 interviews. We learned a lot. Just talking to people, you learn. There are stories that you won't get otherwise, because generally, black and minority people, you don't hear or see them every other day on UK radio and television. So getting their stories in itself was new. And we did get to learn how most of these people left Africa, why they left Africa, how they came to the UK. There's one lady who is 84 years old now. She came in a ship in 1948 when Ghana was not even known as Ghana. It was known as Gold Coast. So we did learn quite a lot of stuff, but more importantly, we learned about the stories of these people who very few people ever get to hear about.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Good luck in your project.
Thank you very much.